Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. Looks like today, on May the 8th, we finally got some information about Diablo 2 Resurrected Season 14, and it looks like there's also some patch notes, so we get to see whether or not they changed some of the things that, I guess, there was no official response, but I suppose we got patch notes, so let's go. They did give us a date, so we have a date here of May the 22nd. It does say May the 22nd at 5 p.m. at PDT for North America. So if you guys want to write that down in your calendar, May the 22nd is nice because Path of Exile 2 doesn't start until May the 29th. So that means we get like a full week on Diablo 2 and we get to hop into some PoE 2 and then we get to like dive back and forth between the games. Should be good. Let's dive into the patch notes though. So it looks like they do have some patch notes, and it says note that any changes made since PTR are noted in blue. If you guys don't know, we've gone over the PTR extensively and looked at all the stuff, so yeah. Warlocks can now only equip two-handed weapon in one hand if the other hand is using a grimoire, so it looks like that's change stayed. Increase the effectiveness of health potions. This was a good change, and I'm glad that one stayed. Sigil Lethargy, remove the damage taken stat. I think that was a bad change in my opinion, but whatever. Fixed an issue where the skill did not affect hostile players. Looks like the Ring of Fire changes. Reducing the scaling changed. Did not change from the PTR. Flame Wave also looks like it maintained its damage reduction. Apocalypse fixed an issue where the visuals will sometimes be duplicated for other players. Miasma Bolt looks like they made some changes here. So they added a delay before the cloud missile spawns. Revert Miasma Bolt cloud delay. So that's no longer a delay. That's good. Reduced cloud damage by 50%. Reverted Miasma Bolt cloud damage to pre-PTR values. This is good. These are good changes. Miasma Bolt felt really bad on the PTR, and I'm glad they reverted some of those changes. Miasma Chains. Removed the casting delay. Added a limit active 1 chains that starts at 5 and it increases to 10. What? Increases to 10? I mean, that's nice. I don't know how that works. It sounds like something that I would like to test, but I mean, that definitely seems to fix some of my issues with the it being stuck at 5 chains. Next hit delay, they didn't really change anything here. How much I'm just going to read it anyway. Next hit delay only applies to clouds generated from a single chain. To be clear, a chain generates a new cloud stamp along the length of the chain every 0.5 seconds. So if a chain lasts 6 seconds, it will have generated 12 stamps of clouds that match its length. Those 12 clouds will have next hit delay between them. If I cast 10 chains, each generating 12 clouds over 6 seconds, for a total of 120 clouds, monsters will take up to 10 instances of damage over those 6 seconds. Next hit delay only applies to a single chain, not across all chains. Fix an issue where extra clouds will be created, so that stayed. Fix an issue where chains would break when using Blade Warp. Yes! Nice. So this is definitely a big win for the chains, because honestly, like the whole entire idea behind the chains is to use the chains and then position yourself accordingly, and Blade Warp was just like the easiest way to do it, but it didn't work because it would just break the chain. So that's a really good change. Enhanced Entropy fixed an issue where the bonus to Abyss radius did not increase from bonus levels. Yeah, I noticed. This was in the patch. I tested it. It didn't seem to increase at all with bonus levels, so I'm glad they adjusted it. Fixed an issue where the bonus radius was sometimes not reflected in the Miasma Bolt, Miasma Chains, and Abyss tooltips. Abyss maximum radius capped at 11 yards. Fixed an issue where Abyss would consume mana when it failed to cast. Many of the changes to Miasma skills are an attempt to bring the use of magic damage in line to other classes. With this damage type, there is typically some mitigating factor to effectiveness that counters its lack of resistance from monsters. The original design of Miasma abilities was to have the slightly awkward mechanical approach of placing most of the damage in the cloud. After addressing the bugs, our team felt the mechanics did not sufficiently reach this threshold and decided to introduce damage reduction. Based off community reception, we have opted to keep most of the previous damage values instead. I want to see if just the bug fixes reach the mechanical awkwardness we are aiming for. We'll be keeping a close eye on Miasma feedback to see if future iterations are required to address how magic damage functions and how the Warlock fits into the puzzle. Eldritch, Hexbane. Fixed an issue where other character stats would not update after leveling one of the Hexbane synergies and recasting the skill. This was well known. Like, if you leveled up one of the synergies of Hexbane, you needed to actually cast one of the other abilities, and then... But apparently it was just a character stat page problem, so maybe it was never actually not updating. Double negative. Cleave fixed an issue where the skill would appear to cast slower than it actually was. Echoing Strike. Increased percentage of weapon damage used from 75% to 90%. Fixed an issue where damage bonuses were combining multiplicatively instead of additively. Fixed an issue where Echoing Strike would always hit. Okay, so they increased the damage obtained from the weapon. Based on the feedback from PTR, we took another look at the decision to fix the bug for durability loss on Echoing Strike. While it was a bug, the feedback made us re-examine the impact onto players' decisions around weapon choices. After discussions, we decided to revert the fix as the impact supported the intended fantasy of the skill while still fitting generally within the original vision. Nice. So, I mean, they still nerfed the ever-loving crap out of Echoing Strike. It still lost a lot of its effectiveness, but it looks like you're still going to be able to keep your ethereal weapons on your Echoing Strike build. So that's a big win. And they also upped the damage a little bit on the like on the weapon itself, so that you're actually getting more damage from the weapon and less damage from the skill. I think that's a good change. Eldritch Blast, change Eldritch Blast, Lifesteal, and Mana Steal from 5 to 20% to 5%. Mirrored Blades. Fixed an issue where Mirrored Blades did not display attack rating on the character screen. Yes, thank you. Fixed an issue where the tooltip did not display the granted attack rating bonus. Fixed an issue where the skill would not repeatedly cast when the button was held down on the controller. Fixed an issue where the first missile when using Mirrored Blades with a bow or crossbow was getting modified damage meant only for the mirrors. Not sure what that means. Demon, Summon Tainted. Reduce the damage synergy from Blood Boil from 30 to 20%. That's probably a decent change. Fixed an issue where the damage synergy... this is Summon Tainted. Fixed an issue where the damage synergy from Blood Boil did not apply. That was something that was good. Fixed an issue where the skill did not count as a fire skill for the purposes of bonus levels from items. Okay, that's nice. That means Mage Fists and like plus fire skill items can actually come in handy now. Fixed an issue where the attack speed increase did not display on the tooltip. Blind Demon. We decided to leave the benefit of soft points granting modifiers for demons in place. While this was an unintentional bug during PTR, it prompted a discussion on the team and with the community about what would be best for the skill. Currently, the design team has identified that while the Bind Demon skill has great depth and detail, those nuances can lead to lack of clarity. Most of the other changes to Bind Demon were put in place to streamline the skill without compromising the uniquely interesting choices it presents to players. Any feedback about where opportunities exist to strike the balance of clarity and preserving the fun of the skill is welcome. Now requires... So they left the level 10, level 15, level 20, champion unique, and super unique requirements for hard points. They left the max health cap, so that's fine. I mean, unfortunately, it does make them very weak, but at the same time, as long as they reverted some of the other changes, which looks like they did, I'm fine with this one. Like, I'm fine with them being weak as long as we can summon them easily. I wasn't fine with them being weak, and also it was difficult to summon them. Or bind them, rather. Synergy for a chance to bind from Deathmark reduced from 1% to 0.5, reverted to pre-PTR values. Introduced max health cap, which varies by demon. Further increased the health cap that was seen on PTR. Okay, so they made them a little bit more tankier than what they were on PTR, which is good. That's good. The overall chance to bind demon has been reduced. Chance to bind demon now starts at 20%, previously 10, and diminish. DM versus in leading toward 56% was previously 25. Added an audio cue for players so they can know if they will not succeed when attempting to bind a demon. Demons with aura enchanted modifier will now also always replace their auras with new auras. We talked about this earlier. So might to concentration, holy fire to vigor. Actually, they refined this a bit from the previous patch notes. These new auras directly map to one of the older auras. So might will always turn into concentration, holy fire always turns into vigor. Blessed Aim always turns into Thorns. Holy Freeze will always turn to Holy Freeze. Conviction to Fanaticism. Fanaticism to Fanaticism. And Holy Shock also to Vigor. Fixed a bug from the PTR that allowed demons to get one of the old auras in a certain scenario. Demons should not be able to get one of the old auras when a bound demon now. So it looks like they doubled down on no conviction aura. There was a bug. I can explain the bug very briefly. It basically had to do with the fact that you could only get the auras when you hit level 20, essentially. So if you kept your level of your blind demon at like level 19, 14, is it 15 to 19? And you bound a conviction demon, for some reason you could keep the conviction because it wouldn't roll an aura on the thing because you only get the auras at level 20. It's a little complicated, but it worked. Looks like they fixed that, so no more conviction aura at all. Reduced the cursed modifier's chance to amplify damage from 75 to 5%, so that stays. Mana cost reduction stays. Now requires base skill level 10 to bind champions, so that stays. Certain super uniques require more damage taken before they can bound. That's interesting. I don't remember that being a line before. Added an audio cue that plays if the monster is unable to be bound. I think that's cool. Reduce the bonus chance to bind that a damaging a demon grants. So basically, missing health does less. So they left that. Fix an issue where the chance to bind demon rolled 12 times per second. Now rolls once per second. Fix an issue where frenzied demons could be bound. Frenzied demons. Fix an issue where Akmal the Curse could be bound. Fix an issue where minions of a monster could become invulnerable after binding it. I had that happen to me several times. Blood Boil. Radius updated to have 3 increased ranges based on level thresholds. 1 to 4, 5 yards. 5 to 9, 6 yards. Level 10 plus 7 yards. I feel like that's way better than what they had before. It's way better. Fix an issue where the tooltip displayed incorrect radius. Engorge attack speed bonus is now a skill-based instead of item-based bonus. Ooh. Well, that's a big change. Skill-based attack speed is way more effective than item-based attack speed. Very similar to what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about making Masanic to Hujlok. The equipment-based run walk is always far less effective than skill-based run walk. It's the same scenario, so that means that Engorge is now going to apply skill-based increase to attack speed, which looks pretty nasty. Demonic Mastery. Max demons now require base points. That was a good change. Reduce the amount of skill points needed to get 2 demons from 10 points to 5, and the amount to get 3 demons from 20 points to 10. So it's actually really easy to get 3 demons. You just need 10 hard points. Attack speed bonus is now capped at 25%. Attack speed bonus now is skill-based instead of item-based. I mean, that's... so they reduced the attack speed bonus, but then turned it into skill-based, which is way better than the item-based anyway. Fixed an issue where the attack speed bonus did not apply on the client, causing a desync. Blood Oath. Damage taken goes to your demon stat is changed to use diminish scaling. 3% at level 1, 25% at level 20. Fix the issue where the damage taken goes to your demon stat would not benefit from bonus skill levels. So it looks like they hit Blood Oath pretty hard, which honestly it kind of needed it. Consume adjusted many of the bonuses. Bonuses now scale based on the difficulty of the demon. For example, Hell difficulty will grant higher, while normal difficulty grants lower. Heralds are our core attempt to mitigate the dissatisfying experiences related to Sunder Charms prior to Reign of Warlock. At launch, it's clear that we overcorrected this experience by making both the Heralds and the Sunder Charms too rare. The changes in PTR attempted to address this overcorrection, but introduced other undesirable impacts. The next iteration aims to find a middle ground of increasing the Herald's appearance at pacing that does not create an undesirable gameplay loop. In PTR, we experimented with an increased chance for Heralds to drop valuable items if the Sunder Charm didn't drop. This quickly proved to be too lucrative and has been removed. Good. For those of you who are unaware what too lucrative means, within basically one day, we were able to get like 33 rainbow facets, like Schaefer's Hammer, Stormlash, like multiple freaking Akis, Shaco, like all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, we were dropping like the most insane drops, and we weren't even trying. We didn't even have Magic Find. We weren't even using Find Item. Like, we were getting insane drops. I have a whole video on it. Sunder Charms have instead been integrated into the existing item table for Heralds, which also makes hunting higher tier Heralds more impactful as Heralds drop more items at higher tiers. We want item drops to feel rewarding, but not break the chase for items that players know and love in Diablo 2. I was sick of facets, Marvin. I literally was sick of facets. Marvin said that I was like, he's looking on my face. He said, you were literally sick of finding facets. I was like, oh, look, another facet. So the chance to drop Worldstone shards is no longer modified by player count. This was a good change. The change is reflected in the increased drop rates for solo players. The increased chance to drop Latent Sunder Charms from Heralds now starts at Tier 1 instead of Tier 4, so they dropped that even further. The increased drop chance for Latent Sunder Charms from Heralds is no longer modified by player count. I think this is a good one, although I don't really necessarily think it's... I like bonuses that preferentiate group play, but I also dislike when single player is exactly the same as group play. Like, I like the groups to have some sort of benefit. I don't think this particular one was very friendly toward single players because, like, the single player characters wanted to make their builds too, and the Latent Sunder Charms are build enablers. So maybe this wasn't the specific item that the specific way to reward the group play, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm fine with it being taken away as a group play reward because specifically Latent Sunder Charms need to be available for solo players as a way to build their characters. Heralds at Tier 3 and Tier 4 have twice the increased drop chance to drop a Latent Sunder Charm, and Heralds at Tier 5 have 3 times the increased chance. Latent Sunder Charms can drop from any monster, terrorize, non-terrorize, using Magic Find. So they took this one away completely. If the increased chance to drop a Latent Sunder Charm from Heralds fails to drop, the Latent Sunder Charm instead drops other items. This was what was causing most of the problems right there. Fix the Herald's Thorns Aura procs twice for every player hit. Ooh. Slightly reduce the chance for Heralds to drop unique, set, and rare items. This change makes Heralds match super unique monsters and should prevent them from feeling like loot goblins. Somebody actually said that too. They were like, man, the Heralds are pretty much just loot goblins, rolling an excessive amount of rainbow facets and unique jewelry. Hey, that's me right there. I'm the one that brought this to their attention. That's me. Yeah, that's me. Heralds now spawn and hunt players upon killing any monster in the terror zone. The chance for Herald to hunt you is increased with each monster killed within the same terror zone. In the PTR, we saw Tier 1 and Tier 2 Heralds spawning too frequently, and Tier 3 to 5 Heralds spawning not as frequently as we intended. To address this, we have made the spawn rates more uniform. When using shards and performing consecutive full zone clears, we saw a double in the total number of Heralds in a game from 30 to 40 to 70 to 90. We also placed in protections to prevent the double spawning of heralds at the same time. I actually kind of really didn't like the double spawning thing. So there's a negative to the double spawning, which has to be explained. So basically, when you have tiers, and the tiers were tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Well, when you would get a herald, your first Harry, that Harry would be a tier 1 herald. And then when you get your second herald, that one would be a tier 2 herald. And as you increase the heralds, you got better drops, right? Well, the problem is that the double spawns were not counting as 2 heralds. They were just counting as 1. So you would get 2 heralds, but they would be 2 tier 1 heralds. And then on top of that, it seemed to count as your second spawn. So it would be a really long time before you got another spawn, your third spawn. But then when the third one spawned, instead of being a tier 3 herald, like you would suspect, it was a tier 2 herald. Because your tier 1 herald didn't count, your second tier 1 herald didn't count, basically. Right? So I actually don't necessarily mind the fact that they took away the double spawning heralds because it was actually kind of a negative because it detracted from the next herald spawn and it didn't advance the tier. So you would have to kill basically your third herald would become the second tier herald, and then your fourth herald would become the third tier herald, and it was stupid. So I'm fine with this because I know for a fact also it was preventing the third herald from spawning or the second herald from spawning because technically it already counted as the second herald. It was a very weird situation, and every time it happened, you kind of felt bad because you weren't getting the tier advancement, which was giving you the bonus loot. Lightning Storm. What is this? Oh, this is back to the Colossal Ancients, or No. Okay, this is new changes for the heralds. Okay, this is interesting. A lightning storm will appear on top of the slain monster when a herald is about to spawn. You have 5 seconds to prepare. Okay. So one of the complaints about the heralds is that they literally just like spawn directly on top of your head, which they don't really spawn directly on top of your head. They spawn on the monster that basically that they take the place of, right? So so they give you a little bit of a warning. That's all we really needed was a little bit of a warning. So a lightning storm will appear on the slain monster when the herald is about to spawn. You have 5 seconds to prepare. I like this. As long as you give us a little bit of a do jank, I like it. Herald tiers now increase when a herald is spawned instead of when a herald is killed. Um, when a herald, okay, that's good. That's good. So they changed it so that instead of the tier going up when, yeah, that actually might have fixed the double spawn thing too. But I guess they did both of them. But I mean, basically now the herald tier will increase when the spawn happens, not when the kill happens. Which means that if you get another herald at the same time as you're killing the first herald, the second herald should still be a tier 2 herald. That's a good change. Reduce the difficulty of heralds above tier 1. Health bonus per tier reduced 500% to 250, starts at 1,000. Damage bonus per tier reduced from 50 to 25%, starts at 50. So they made the higher tier heralds a little bit less difficult. I don't necessarily think the higher tier heralds needed to be less difficult, but some people were saying that the heralds hit really hard for melees, so maybe that will help the melees not die as much. Also, I see here fix an issue where the Thorns aura from heralds would hit twice. So basically, for the melees that were having trouble, like even surviving a single attack against the Thorns heralds, it looks like there was a bug involving the Thorns hitting you 2 times. So maybe it will be much easier to survive that now. Overall, I'm excited. It looks like they heard us. They saw the craziness that was going on. They took away the craziness. They fixed the stupid gameplay loop and made some good changes that I think should probably make the system more fun. Um, we'll see. Then we also have the Colossal Ancients changes. So they made more Colossal Ancients changes. Colossal Ancient statues now drop from non-terrorized act bosses at a reduced rate. Colossal Barbarian summons continuously spawn up to a cap of 5. Increase the maximum magic resistance from each colossal from 50 to 75%. This was the previous change. Increase the damage of Talix Whirlwind, increase the damage of Talix Fire Twisters, increase the damage of Corlix Coldfisher, increase the damage of Maddox Thunderstorm. Yeah, I don't really know if they needed damage increases. So the problem with the Ancients isn't that they were, like they didn't do damage. The problem with the Ancients was that they die too quick. I'm not exactly sure that increasing their damage is going to overall fix the problem of them dying too quickly, but I don't know. We heard the feedback that the Colossal Ancients were too easy for some builds. We believe that by combining adjustments to the Colossal survivability and damage with adjustments to certain players' skills will create a fair difficulty increase. I guess we'll see how good it is. Keyboard movement reintroduced bindable movement keys. They did the WASD. We are excited to bring back bindable keyboard movement keys, also known as WASD, after their soft launch in 2024. The Chronicle fixed an issue where the Chronicle rewards would unequip when joining a new game or character death. Improve the controller experience for the Chronicle. Fix various issues when viewing a rune word in the Chronicle. Fix an issue where the indestructible stat was missing when viewing an item in the Chronicle. Fix an issue where the attack speed would display improperly when viewing an item in the Chronicle. Fix an issue where the view rewards button in the Chronicle would become out of sync with the rewards panel. Loot filter. Fix an issue where gold hidden by loot filter was not automatically picked up when using a controller. Fix an issue where highlights could become misaligned if the loot filter when using a controller. Stash. Added ability to move 3 items from an advanced stash to inventory when using the controller. Fix an issue where non-rune items were unable to be quick moved from the inventory to the personal chat or shared stash. Fix an issue where the advanced stash notification would play regardless of if the item was moved there. Fix an issue where the wrong tooltip was used on controller when moving an item to the advanced tab. User interface. Fixed several issues with various drop-down menus. Fixed an issue on controller where switching menu tabs with triggers was very sensitive. Fixed an issue where the character select UI would become unselected when switching between controller and mouse input. Fixed an issue where the empty button prompt could appear when using controller. Fixed an issue where the text could overlap in the message log when using a controller. Console and handheld fixed various issues that could occur when placing or removing a Nintendo Switch from its dock. Fix an issue where text would appear out of bounds in the party menu. Fix an issue where a missing string was sometimes displayed when failing to join a game. Fix an issue where the account linking modal borders would overlap with text. Fix an issue where the default settings did not match the settings when first launching the game. Fix an issue where unusable confirm button would appear in the lobby screen. Fix an issue where shortcuts from the main menu remained active while other UIs were open. Fix an issue where the default game creation settings menu was not accessible. Fix an issue where the cursor was missing when using controller in desktop mode. Fix an issue where the Friends tab could sometimes lose focus. Fix various issues with the loot filter UI. Fix an issue where the text character conversion modal would extend past the modal's boundaries. Fix an issue where the text would overlap in the divider lines in the settings menu. Fix an issue where the Chronicle Rewards UI could get misaligned. Miscellaneous menu stability and performance improvements. Fixed an issue where resolution scaling setting would not apply properly in certain scenarios. Fixed an issue where joining games across different regions. Fixed an issue where monsters over pits would sometimes disappear after moving far away from them. May your ladder race be filled with fiends to eviscerate and bountiful loot. The Diablo 2 Resurrected team. We have a team, guys. We got a team. There is a team. There is a team. There is a big old monster team. Boop-a-doo-doo. There is a team. There is a team. I can't believe it. There is a friggin' team. There is a team. The hell? My Discord's broken. My Discord's broken. It doesn't work. My Discord's broken. It don't work. I'm excited about the changes. I like the fact that they kept the good changes. I mean, to make it very clear, they kept the good changes. They got rid of the bad changes. They reverted some of the like weird changes that didn't make any sense and adjusted them appropriately. Overall, it looks like they listened to just about everything that they needed to listen to. We'll have to take a look and see how the heralds are now. Obviously, they sound better. They definitely sound much better. It sounds like they understood that the tier 1 and 2 heralds were spawning too frequently. It sounds like they understood that the 3s and 5s were not spawning as frequently. Like they increased the total number, so it looks like we're going to get a lot more. They paid attention to the fact that they were jumping on our heads and murdering us. I'm not really sure about making them weaker, but I guess there were some people that I think complained about them being a little bit too strong. And I'm glad they fixed the Thorns issue for the melee characters. I mean, overall, it's a really good patch. It's a very, 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 very good patch. Uh, I mean, this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see them make a patch, make the appropriate adjustments, fix things as needed to be fixed, and not just like bull ahead with bad changes. And it doesn't look like they bulled ahead with bad changes. I mean, there were a bunch of bad changes in here, and now they're gone. So it looks like Season 14 is going to be really fun. Season 14 starts on May 22nd at 5 p.m. PDT. So be there or be square, boys. Looks like I need to set up a sign-up sheet, and I need to get everything ready. It's going to take me like way too long. Gotta do sign-up sheet. What the hell is going on with Discord today? Like, my Discord on both computers is just like completely busted right now. Anyway, as always, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe button if you enjoy the videos. Let me know if you're excited about the changes for the Diablo 2 Resurrected Reign of the Warlock Season 14. And keep watching.